I've got a lot of favorite airplanes. The Corsair, P-38 Lightning. They're all beautiful airplanes. But you have to admit, one of the best ones, the one that won the war, was the P-47 Thunderbolt. I've always enjoyed that airplane. A friend of mine has a giant scale P-47 Thunderbolt and lost one of the gun tubes and asked me if I could replace it. The gun tube was basically made out of a piece of 3/8 thin-walled brass tubing with a little plug soldered in the end of it with a hole for a 3 millimeter stud that's in the wing so you can screw it into the wing. I brought it to my shop and made up a replacement and then asked him if he'd be interested in a real one. And he said, yeah, sure. So I made some gun tubes up for him that looked a little bit more scale-like than what he had, and he likes them. So I came across some photographs that I had taken of these operations that I went through when I machined up these tubes and thought I would document them here. The first thing I did was do some research on what these gun tubes are supposed to look like. One thing I learned was there are different styles of gun tubes. I knew that the tubes that were on my buddy's aircraft looked appropriately sized, and that the tubes I was looking in at the drawings had a 1/2 inch bore diameter. So I was able to put together some drawings so that I could make some tubes. I made a form tool out of some high-speed steel, just ground in the radius that I wanted on the ends of those tubes. I modified a small boring bar that I had, ground a form tool into the end of it so that it could form up the profile that I wanted on the inside of the gun tube, which would give me the protruding barrel. Here's a view of the end of the tube after it's been turned with the profile tool, both profile tools actually. And here's another view of that getting polished, almost ready to get parted off for a second operation. So here they all are, all parted off and awaiting the second operation. They're going to end up getting turned around, put back in the chuck, and then drilled and tapped for a 3 millimeter hole, threaded hole, so that they can screw. There's 3 millimeter studs that stick out of the wing. So after I had them all polished up, I almost wrapped them up in a rag and thought, nah, I got to do something better than that. So I found an old antique tin cigarette case that had been knocking around the shop, and I found some little pads of cork that I had laying around and cut up a little presentation case for it. I don't know, a little anal, maybe. I figured if he needs to take the tubes out when he goes to stow the wing, then maybe it'd be a good idea for him to have something to put it in where they wouldn't get all scratched up. So here they are mounted in the wing. This was really a fun project to do, and I think it turned out pretty nice. All right, well, I also had a lot of fun making this video and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.